way to become more attractive is to build a good aesthetic physique. What is an aesthetic physique? And what are the muscles that I can train in order to look better to get more girls? So the aesthetic physique looks like an upside down Dorito. The three main muscles that are best for this are the traps, aka the shoulders, the delts, and the lats. The lats help you bring out your back, which helps you get that more of a V-taper look. How do you train your lats? Pull-ups, flat pull-downs, barbell rows, dumbbell rows, and body weight rows if you can't do pull-ups. So what you want to do at the bottom of each rep of a pull-up or a lat pull-down is squeeze tight. So let's say you have your hands on the bar, you bring it down, you squeeze for around 1 to 2 seconds, and you go back up. Do this for every single rep of every single set. Choose a moderate rate that feels pretty heavy, but also not too heavy to where you lose form. Because if you're just trying to rev out their weights, you're probably not gonna have the best form. And from my experience, the best form leads to the best muscle growth. And I'm just gonna cut in every single of these exercises. You need to have progressive overload. And progressive overload, where you progress the amount of weight or the amount of reps that you do on each exercise. So let's say you're doing lat pull down. This week you did 75 pounds lat pull down. Next week you're gonna do 85. Next week you're gonna do 95. Next week 105. And sure, it's not gonna go by week by week by week, but that's progressive overload. Either having a greater amount of sets or a greater amount of weight each time you train that muscle. So those were exercises to help train your back, to train your traps. What I usually do is I get pretty heavy weights and I just shrug, shoulder shrugs, and slow and controlled reps. Now for the delts, what I usually do is I do a lot of lateral raises. Now, here's a problem that I had with lateral raises, that I always felt my traps when I did it. But my friend told me that the reason I feel my traps is because I'm activating my traps like this. Like that. But you gotta relax your traps. You gotta lean forward a little bit, have your arms at a slight bend, have pretty light weights, and just go ham. Go until failure. And going until failure means going until you can't anymore. Those are to work the left side delts. To work the front delts, you don't really need to work them that much because it already activates when you do push-ups, when you do bench press. A really good movement that I would recommend for targeting the front delt is having 2 pairs of dumbbells and just bring it up like so, like that. Just a front version of the lateral raises, you're just raising it up. Now for the back delt, what I would usually do is this thing called reverse flies, where I have 2 pairs of dumbbells and I'm sitting down, my legs straight out in front of me, and I'm just, with a slight bend, bring my arms up so that it activates the back of the delt, bringing that down. Now those were the muscles that help you build that V taper. But what about all the rest of them? The chest is probably the second most important. Because without a good chest, sure you can have really good 6-pack abs and everything else. If you don't have a full chest, then it looks kind of weird. So to help build the chest, I'd recommend bench press and a lot of push-ups. And of course there are many variations like incline push-ups or incline bench, which helps the aesthetics of the upper chest. And you want to be training your upper chest. If you're not training your upper chest, your chest is going to look like an upside down water balloon. But instead you want the chest more full at the top and less full at the bottom so that you can get a really good curvature. This can be high volume or stop reps. Now stop reps are when you stop at the end of the movement. So you're doing push-ups, you stop here for 2 to 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, push back up. Those are called stop reps. And when you stop here, you can really feel the stretch in your chest really well, and then you push back up. But when you just rep it out, that's when you can really feel the burn a lot more, in my opinion, because you're just going ham until you can't go anymore. And that's how I personally grew my chest to what it is now. And what you want to do for bench or incline bench is that you don't want to aim directly here where the bar ends up. You want to aim more towards the middle of your chest so that you can feel the activation much better in your chest. Now for one of the most important parts about aesthetics, the abs. For the abs, there are 4 to 5 main movements that I usually did every single morning. And those were ab crunches, Russian twists, flutter kicks, leg raises, and bicycles. Those 5 movements allowed me to get the abs that I have today, along with lowering body fat percentage. But those main movements really helped with the development of my abs. Now, what you want to do for all of these is that go to 100. You can stop at 50, but go to 100 on each of the exercises. And of course, it's going to be painful, but it's supposed to be painful. But don't go like full crazy Chris Heria though, where you're doing 5 rounds of this. Just do like 1 to 2 sets and go to 100 of each exercise. But workouts are supposed to hurt. If you're not hurting after the workout, you didn't do enough. And yes, as a teen, it is true that we recover faster than normal adults, but then that just proves to us that we should be training much harder. But the main thing about building muscle is that yes, you need to train as hard as you can, train harder than last time, but you need a really well-balanced diet and also eat a lot of food in order for us to build the muscle. Because if we're not fueling our workouts, we're only gonna lose mass instead of gain muscle mass. A lot of foods that are good for this is a lot of proteins, which is like salmons, fish, steaks, chickens, lean pork chops. Those are really healthy proteins that helped me build the physique I have today. So just try to incorporate those in every meal. Final thing that I want to note is that yes, it's gonna attract more girls. Yes, muscles are attractive, but muscles take time to build. The results that I have took 10 months. And sure, to you, it doesn't seem that long, and only that I'm here now is where I realize how much progress I've made and how little of a time frame this was. But for a lot of people, this takes years. You just gotta delay gratification. There are 2 terms that have saved my life: instant and delayed gratification. Instant gratification are all the gratification activities that you're doing right now, like scrolling on TikTok, on Instagram, scrolling on social medias, eating the junk food. Junk food is a perfect example of instant gratification because you're just getting all the sugar right now, and then you're going to regret it later because you get fat. But for delaying gratification is eating the foods that aren't exactly taste the best, but you know are healthy for you so that your life will prosper. Your life in the future will be better. So yeah, this video helped you in any way. Please like, subscribe so I get to my 5,000 subscribers by the end of your goal. Do the hard work now instead of later. And have fun attracting more girls. And as always, Malleus. See you!